in California. She's also one of our SMC Doula trainers. And we want to thank you for all your work, Samsarah. You can read about her also on page 4. She's also our keynote speaker. But if you can come up to the podium and you can stay.
Oh, that's nice.
This says the first annual SMC Doula Conference Outstanding Doula Leadership Award. Proudly presented to Samsarah Morgan, Portland, Oregon, September 16, 2022. And you're so deserving, and so thank you. Now it's keynote time.
Oh my goodness, that's so amazing. I need to take a second because that's so amazing. It's amazing for a lot of reasons. It's amazing because doula work is not the kind of work that a person gets into because they want to be a millionaire. And it's not the kind of work that a person gets into really, except for my clients who I'm blessed that they love me the way they do. You don't really get a whole bunch of acknowledgement for it, so that's really sweet. And I really want to thank Mama Shafia for giving that opportunity to me. I want to acknowledge 3 of my amazing doula folk who are here with me. I'm a mother of 5 beautiful sons who are all grown up now. And I have gorgeous daughters-in-laws, and I have my grandbabies. I did not birth any female children. But I have trained, I can't even tell you how many doulas I've trained. And have been blessed to see them go off to do amazing things in this world. So I have midwives and doulas and chiropractors and acupuncturists. I have one of my students ran for assembly person in our community. I mean, I'm just so proud of these women. So here's 3 exquisite folks who are here. And I just want to acknowledge Jesselyn Balrano and Priscilla NFL and Kathleen, wonderful Kathleen. So I'm just really happy that they're here with me. I'm here to chat with you about sacredness. And so, am I not speaking well?
No.
I can. Yeah, you're sweet. Thank you. I would love to hear from you what you think of when you think of the word sacred. Like, what does that mean to you? Can a few people share that with me? Yes, Lynn.
Oh my gosh, sacred is creating that space. It's a space for which it's a space for which
You want to come up? Come on.
It's a space for which we place the sacred. The sacred are things that we deem as special, holy, that are consecrated, or that are placed in high value. And that's creating that space for it. And that's what birth is. Yeah.
Absolutely. Even in you.
Boy, it's setting for me. Oh, they can't hear me? Oh, okay.
You stand next to me.
Okay. We have been baby nurse LPN 1, LPN 2, doula, lay midwife since the 60s and the 70s. And one of the things I've learned about one of the things I have learned more about a sacred place is we as doula can set the tone anywhere. We just bring peace. We bring love and safety to every woman, anybody that walks in that door. And it creates miracles.
Yeah. Thank you. There's one more person, and then Jasmine.
Well, I just wanted to say that I think it's internal peace.
I mean, just simply that, I believe it's just internal peace. And when you're able to really have that peace, then any environment or space is, sacred. So, thank
The
you.
ability to have that inner peace. Got it.
Rooted in spiritual truth.
Thank you. That's a nice one. I like that one a lot. Yeah.
I would view sacred as the essential, intrinsic, intangible nature of all things.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Yeah, sacred means different things to different people, but the core things that I'm hearing, the core feelings that are shared is that there's a sense of specialness, there's a sense of being close to the divine, the sacred object, the sacred thing, the sacred place, the sacred behavior, the sacred process is bringing us close to our Creator, however we are connected with that Creator. So I'm a Catholic doula, and so I'm going to speak to you from that place that wherein I was raised and where I was found my joy, where I was first introduced to God outside of my mom's body. I often say that the best gift that my family gave me was my Catholicism, and the fact that I was a Catholic person in the 60s, where things were starting to not being as psychotic. And I was raised in my education, I was taught solely by women. I was taught by nuns, and I was taught by really bright, loving, gentle, kind women who valued me and who deeply loved God, and that really helped set me on a path for being a strong woman in my own life and being the doula that I am today, and the mom and grandma that I am today. Thank you. The challenge for sacredness in being a doula right now is that we're working in environments, most doulas help folks birth in the hospital. And actually, for a lot of folks, and in the way that medicine is taught, there's no room for God. There's no room for the sacred. There's no respect for the female body and what it can do. Our processes have become pathologized, made into sickness. And the treatment of the female body person coming into the hospital to give birth is that you were sick. Point of fact, I had a doctor say to one of my clients, pregnancy is an illness, and the birth of the child is the cure. So that is the thinking that people are walking into the hospital with. So it's very frustrating as a doula, where I am preparing clients for a rite of passage, for a soul expanding experience, and the people who are receiving the client are thinking this about them. And the care that they're receiving is predicated upon the fact that this is a sick person. This is like, just the desire of doctors nowadays to induce everybody at 39 weeks, because allowing natural labor to occur is leaving you open to all of these problems. When really it's about, when you allow natural labor to occur, that person doesn't need medicine. A healthy person doesn't need medicine. So they want to set up an environment where medicine is needed, because once you're induced, your body's not working on its own steam, it needs medicine to complete the process. So it's their dream come true. Right? So it's super, super important for us to not fall into the trap of seeing ourselves as sick creatures, as women, because we know women don't get the health care that they deserve, and black women don't, and brown women don't get the health care they deserve. So it's very important for us to view ourselves as precious, as sacred, as worthy. We have to believe that if no one else around us believes it. We have to hold on to it no matter what we see on TV or hear on the news. We have to do that for ourselves, and we have to share that good news with our daughters. One of the things that's brought me great sadness is looking at over the past 20 years or so, that this good news hasn't been shared significantly with our daughters at all. My clients 20 years ago, to correct my beloved Mama Shafia, I've been a doula 43 years in October. It's okay. 20 years ago, though, my clients came to me ready to kick ass. They had read all the books. They were like, Samsarah, I don't want none of that. Excuse my language. Shit. I don't want none of that. I want you to come in with me, and we're going to tell these MFs, I don't want none of that, SHIT. And I was like, yeah, girl. All right, yeah. Let's do that. Bring your man in here. He's ready. Nana's ready. Auntie's ready. Whoever's coming in the room. We were all there. We were walking in there like the Reservoir Dogs. We're like, we are here. And you ain't doing none of that stuff to us. What I'm seeing now, though, is our beautiful daughters, and now granddaughters, because I'm old enough to have clients who are old enough to be my grandchild. They're like, oh, I love my doctor. Please just do what the doctor says. What happened? What happened? I think a lot of that is the loss of the sacredness in ourselves as women. Of course women can rule nations. Of course. Of course women can run armies. Of course. We always have. Black and brown women, we have always done this. It's not new to us to run a nation, to be a queen, to be an empress. What lands did Cleopatra run? And she was 16, 17, 18. So it's never been a question, for at least for me as a black woman, whether black women can do it. Of course we can. And we certainly can humble ourselves before God to birth a child. And that's what it is. We are so mighty that when we come to that place, when we come to transition, we look God in the eye. And that's why it's so challenging. And if you have no concept of that, it really blows you out. And I see my clients, my lovely, cool, groovy Bay Area clients, I love them. But no one's sacred, no one's got God, no one's got anything sacred in their lives. And that transition pulls the rug out from under their feet. And the fear is so great that they want to turn it off. They want to run away. And we understand that. Transition's a big deal. Anyone who's had a baby knows. But if we can ride it out, if you're a healthy, laboring person, if you can ride it out, if you can hold on to your mama and your auntie, your doula, if you can say your prayers, your chants, whatever brings you peace, whatever puts you in that place of sacred, that includes you, that includes the baby that you're giving birth to, you can do it. And through that process of birthing that child, there's nothing you can't do. Nothing. Women need to know that. And papas and partners need to have the gift of being able to see their partners do that. Our role right now at being doulas is very biblical. And my community doula practice is called Shifra Circle Community Doula Program. And Shifra was a midwife, and Pua was her, depends upon who's telling the story. Pua was either her co-midwife or she was her helper or apprentice. And I want doulas to know that our work, as it was said earlier today several times, doulas and midwives have always worked together. The doula profession is as old as the midwifery profession, because there was the folks who actually helped the baby come out of its mother's beautiful body, and there were the people who helped, who set the environment, who got the food for the midwife and the birthing person and the daddy and anybody else who took care of the other children. Our role is as sacred and as old as midwifery. The lovely Shifra had a problem. The Pharaoh, once again, was doing his nonsense. So I'd just like to read a little bit of that to you, what was going on. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, who did not know Joseph. And he said to his people, behold, the people of Israel are far too many and mighty for us. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply. And if war breaks out, they join our enemies and fight against us and escape from the land. Therefore they set taskmasters over them to afflict them with heavy burdens. They built for Pharaoh store cities. But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied, and the more they spread abroad. And the Egyptians were in dread fear of the people of Israel. So they ruthlessly made the people of Israel work as slaves, and made their lives bitter with hard service in mortar and brick, and all kinds of work in the fields. And in their work they ruthlessly made them work as slaves. Then the king of Egypt said to the Hebrew midwives, one of whom was named Shifra, and the other Puah, when you serve as midwife to the Hebrew women and see them on the birth stool, if it is a son, you shall kill him. But if it's a daughter, she shall live. But the midwives feared God and did not do as the king of Egypt commanded them, and let the male children live. So the king of Egypt called the midwives and said to them, why have you done this? And let the male children live. The midwives said to Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women, for they are vigorous and give birth before the midwife comes to them. So God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and grew very strong. And because the midwives feared God, he gave them plenty. God dealt well with the midwives. God deals well with the doulas. Our job is to do the best we can to allow our babies to live, and to allow our mamas to know and our daddies to know that they have all that they need to raise children who will be of service to themselves and their communities. This is one of the most sacred beliefs of my life. And my students have heard me say a million times, I love birth. I trust birth the way I trust Jesus. And so, with that, I will end and thank you for your time.